Welcome to the Friday Review, everyone. It's great to have you. Thanks so much for closing out your week with me. If you are listening in on a Friday, any day, of course, hopefully you're going to be able to get some big benefit from the show. I always give you my personal view over the last week, what's been going on, also what's going on in the private practice. Huge announcement, if you haven't already heard, about us all gathering together in person for the very first time. Can't wait to share all of that news. But also on today's show, we're going to be going over the podcast recap for the week. In case you missed any shows, if any of the topics strike a chord with you, we'll go over those. Big product review. A lot of people have been asking, what is this thing that you're wearing under your watch? We'll go over that. No, it's not an EMF protector. Something even better for me. So I'm going to be sharing that with you. And then we will be going over the follow-up to yesterday's show, which was the Cooper test. And we talked about really important factor for figuring out what your estimated VO2 is in terms of overall health and mortality. So definitely check out that show. I'll recap it just a bit more in just a moment, but we'll do a follow-up to that for those that want to do a subsequent test if you're in even a little bit better shape. Great, because we try to help people wherever they are on their health, wellness, fitness, anti-aging journey. And then, of course, I have one more research study that I hope that we have time to get to. And it's really the relationship between diabetes and cancer and heart disease and kidney disease and like all of these things that people think are separated because that's how conventional medicine tells you to view them. So if we have time, we'll get to that study as well. So why don't we dive right into it? First and foremost, I have to say, just an amazing Mother's Day last weekend. I know it already seems probably like a million years ago, but just last weekend, I had the opportunity to head to Boston with my wife and my two daughters to be able to see our families. They both still live around the Medford, Massachusetts area, right outside of Boston. So it was really nice for us to be able to connect with our moms and then also my kids, grandmothers. And then for my wife to be able to have a nice weekend as well. And I think that's super important because just like many moms out there, she does so much for myself, for our family. And it's just, even if it's only one day, try to recognize all the amazing mothers, even like I said, if it's only for 24 hours. And I hope that we do our best. And I know that we typically don't, but to show how grateful we are for all those moms out there. So again, appreciate you. Thank you. And of course, that goes to my mom, my mother-in-law, and my wife as well. So, it was nice though, because I had a couple days where just when I'm traveling, I have to stay focused like the full time really on my family, my daughters, and just make sure everything's going well because we're obviously not staying at our home. And so what I'd like to do too is just gives me time to reflect. It gives me a time to think. And for me, and many of you don't know this, and I'm kind of announcing it for the very first time, like no hype or anything like that. I've wanted to put together a community event for all of us for the longest time. And it is a massive undertaking. Like you need a full team just to be able to make all of this happen. And so what we've done is last year we put together an amazing event for integrative health practitioners, so basically healthcare practitioners only, and it was fantastic. We had somewhere around 150 people last year at the event. People came from all over the US, all over the world to attend the event. And it was like hanging out with family. I mean, it honestly was. That's why this weekend made me think about even though many of us have never met each other in person, and if you're a part of CabralSupportGroup.com or you are an integrative health practitioner, it is amazing. But when you meet in person, you solidify that connection. So what we've wanted to do this year is we wanted to get actually both communities together, the integrative health practitioners and our Cabral concept listeners and EquiLife community. And so it's really open to the general public as well as practitioners. And what we are doing is we're holding it this October, the 12th and 13th of October, in sunny Fort Lauderdale, Florida, right on the beach. So it's an amazing location. I will be putting on the event with my team. I will be speaking there. I will be talking with people and, really taking photos and just having fun really with our community. And then there will be 15 other speakers. So everything from checking out stress and heart rate variability, speaking on sleep, talking about mental health, going over really cutting edge forms of mindset, hypnotherapy, looking at holistic dentistry, cutting edge health tech breakthroughs, anti-aging, life extension, mortality tests, and then exhibitors showing you all these wild products that you probably aren't even familiar with. So it's going to be so amazing, and I could go on, and I probably will. But for right now, I just wanted to direct you over to the main site, and you can check it out for yourself. So head on over to reimagininghealthevent.com. And the reason why it's called Reimagining Health is that we are on a mission for the next 7 years to basically get rid of chronic disease for anyone that is suffering from the highs of anything: high cholesterol, high blood pressure, high blood sugar like diabetes, as well as all of the autoimmune issues, chronic inflammatory conditions, hormone imbalances, et cetera. So we believe within the next 7 years, we actually believe we can do it sooner, but within the next 7 years, we believe that we're going to be able to show through all of our underlying at-home lab testing, correlate that with blood work, and show that when people go through specific protocols, it eliminates all of these so-called diseases. And so we're on a mission, and this is year one. I would love you to be a part of it. The first year is always, the most amazing, the most incredible, just like we had for the practitioners last year. And I would love you to be a part of that. I would love to be able to meet in person, shake hands, give hugs, and just make some memories together. And plus, you'll be with your family. I mean, that's really it. Like your global health family, people that you've maybe only connected with online, they'll be at the event. So it is open right now. We have 500 tickets available. That's it. That's what the hotel can hold. So we would love to see you there this October. Feel free to let us know if there's any questions. Head on over to reimagininghealthevent.com. All right. So that is it for my updates there. I do want to let you know too that and this is a wild, one of the wildest offers that we've ever tried to bring to you as a community. We're actually giving away a $99 at-home lab test that tests for inflammation. And that's because inflammation is typically a part of 90+% of all health issues, rampant inflammation. We want to give you one test that can verifiably show you if you have high levels of inflammation from high levels of omega-6s versus omega-3s or not. And it clearly delineates that. You want to be below a 5, but ideally at a 3 or less. And you can do it. And when you get below a 5, you notice a huge difference. When you get to a 3, a monumental difference. The average person that comes in our practice is somewhere around a 10 or so. So just keep that in mind. And this is a $99 test. You can go over to EquiLife, you can click on the inflammation test, you can pay the $99, and that's okay. It's still $30 less than you can get it anywhere else, but we are giving away 500 this week. So we're probably close to the 500, honestly, but you can just go to stevencabral.com/free-lab, and it's just $17.95 for the shipping and handling. That literally does not even cover the packaging, the components. We mail it to you, and then we pay, if you're in the US, to have it mailed back to the lab. So $17.95, trust me, barely covers and most likely does not the shipping, the handling, and all the components. But what I want to do is introduce people for the very first time probably, because most people haven't done it, to at-home lab testing and how it can change your life like it did for me when I was 19 years old. There's no doubt about it. And so typically we only offer 100 a month of the free labs, and it's for people that have never run labs before. But then I felt that why would we not offer this to some of our best customers out there that have purchased protocols and Big Fives and CBO protocols and those things. So it's for everybody this week, and I wanted to share that with you. That's at stevencabral.com/free-lab. All right, podcast recap for the week. So Monday's show, it was a tough one because I know a few people in my life right now with depression, they're in a bad spot. And I've worked with clients for many, many years that have been in a bad spot. And I've seen people turn it around and make dramatic turnarounds in their life. And I also know that mental health is also a very sensitive issue. I try to be as sensitive as possible during that show. But sometimes you can't fix the physical body until you fix the mind. And so I just wanted to share with you on a lighter topic, not getting too heavy, that we have to look at if we don't have things that interest us in life and that move us forward, it can often spell danger and depression. And so I just went over that very sensitive topic. That was episode 2656. Episode 2657 the next day was foods that are high in mold, and so you'll want to check out that show. Wednesday's show was how heavy metals are linked to brain aging, Alzheimer's, and learning disabilities for both children and adults. Yesterday was measuring your mortality using the 12-minute test. This test is for everybody and anyone. It takes only 12 minutes out of your life. Please run that test, and it's free. So check that out. All right, so that is the podcast recap for the week. Of course, you can always find all shows over at stevencabral.com/podcast. All right, if you're watching this on video, we appreciate you, especially if you're on YouTube. You subscribe to the channel. We love seeing that community grow because it's a different group of people on YouTube, and they love being able to interact, leave comments. And we appreciate you. We thank you. I read your comments. We all read your comments. We take your feedback, and we love the ideas for new shows and also just kind of sharing your journey with us. So again, we thank you. We appreciate you and appreciate you supporting other people on the channel too. So if you're watching on video, if not, I'll explain it. You can see below my watch on my left arm, you know, I always wear a white shirt and I always roll up my sleeves. And part of that is because you can't fit a watch underneath my sleeve. So if I'm taking my watch off, which I'm doing right now, and you'll see that I have a wrist wrap around my wrist. I often show it on Instagram stories, and I injured my ulna. Basically, there's something that I won't get too deep into it. There's a process here at the end of the ulna joint, which is the bone on the outside of your wrist. Everybody, you know, typically has a small little bone sticking out that you can see there. Okay, that's the top of the ulna. Mine is sticking out way too much. Now, this, I do not recommend this to people, but I had a fall. It was an accident. Accidents, as I say, do happen. And I most likely fractured the top of that ulna. I have to go to a doctor, of course, to have this x-rayed, an orthopedic doctor. I'm not an orthopedic doctor, but I know a little bit about the anatomy. And so I'm gonna have that taken care of in about 4 weeks from now. And unfortunately, if I have to have it casted, put a cast on, I will do that. But I'm not looking forward to it, and it was not something I was able to do over these last 4 weeks. And so what I had to do was immobilize that wrist. So maybe I'll show it on a future podcast. I basically bought a wrist brace. So at night when I sleep, I keep this hand totally immobilized, but I can't type, I can't do my work with my arm totally immobilized. And so what I've done though, is I bought Kinesio tape, and I was using that a few weeks ago. And a company named Healy saw I was using it, and they said, if the Kinesio tape is working for you, which it is, because you can see right here, and if you can't see, that's okay. I tape it well above the ulna, the joint here. So I tape it all the way up to my hand. So it immobilizes my wrist, not allowing for a great amount of motion, which is why then it takes the pain away. So it was working great. I was using Kinesio tape, basically pre-cut strips, which I'll show you in just 1 second. And then Healy reached out and they said, you have to check out this product. And I said, I'll check out the product. And because I'm already using the Kinesio tape, here's the difference. So here is, you can see I'm wearing theirs right now. I've got 3 different types. And you can see I basically used the entire roll. This is the one with all the quotes on it, like believe and success and strong. That one's my favorite, actually. Then there's the paint splatter that I'm wearing right now, which is designer, we'll put it that way. But this isn't, the design is not the important part. I'll tell you the important part in 1 second. And then this one, you would just consider like more of a light, I don't know, it's like a tan color, right? And so this one's not gonna show up as much, and it comes in this beautiful packaging. And what it says though on it, what makes a difference is it says infused with magnesium and menthol. And that is the difference maker. Let me share with you why. So their Kinesio tape, it's like taking a Epsom salt bath for your wrist, or putting on like Targar Balm or Icy Hot or menthol, any one of those. So the magnesium helps to speed up the recovery, circulation. It also helps with calming the overall nerves. It can help with hydration, definitely improves with stress relief. Magnesium is great for just overall mood. But the menthol has the cooling sensation. And they told me you have to try it while also you're working out, because when your body heats up, and you should feel it in the sauna, that is when more menthol is even released. So you get this cooling sensation. And that does a couple things. So the cooling sensation calms the pain, but also there's a theory, it's called gate control theory, and that coolness, that calming may actually cut off the pain. And I've noticed that. I have no real pain except for a little bulging bone in my wrist. So helps with opening up the capillaries, and all of this helps with balancing healthy inflammation in an injured location. So I've been using it now for about 2-3 weeks, and it's a fantastic product. And the way that it comes off is that when I get it wet with my shower in the morning, I just peel it off and I put on the new one. So that's really it. And then I wanted to show you this part, is that they come in 10-inch strips. I think they're 10-inch strips. It's pretty close to that, if not. And you can see there, if you're watching this on video again, there's a little strip right here. All you do is tear that away. And this is a backing right here, paper backing. You peel it off, and on the back, you can actually see I don't want to waste this one, menthol and magnesium infused in the design, which sticks right on and immediately goes to work under the skin. So it's transdermal, it moves through your skin. Here's the thing. It's not an expensive product, and it works. That's basically the bottom line. I like to share with you products that work. So for me, I'm hoping that it's nothing major, that I don't have to have surgery on it. That's the goal. If I have to be in a cast, unfortunately, I have to be in the cast for the first part of the summer. I'll deal with that. I want to make sure that it's taken care of right, but this is getting me to that. But the other thing is, it's not just for joints. It works on tired, aching muscles. And they have a whole instructional booklet and videos that show you how to tape up your knees, your ankles, your wrists, your shoulders, but also your lower back or your calves, anything that's aching. Like right now, I know my dad's dealing with some lower back issues. So I'm gonna send him a roll of this so that he can put one strip on each side of his lower back, and no doubt it's gonna help with the pain, like no doubt about it. So if you're new to kinesio taping, it's like nothing scary. It's super easy to put on yourself or your partner, your kids, someone else can help you put the tape on if it's on your back, and it works. Bottom line is, kinesio tape works, known about it, used it in my practice, I don't know, somewhere around maybe 2014 or so. People started using it in maybe 2012. We had some massage therapists that were introducing me to it, and they were kind of certified in kinesio taping, pretty straightforward, and now it's become much more mainstream. It is the infusion of the magnesium and menthol that takes this to the next level for pain. So I'll link it up for you today. We reached out after probably 2 weeks of me using it, and we asked if we could pass along any type of coupon code. It is Cabral20. So head on over to stephencabral.com/2660. The code is Cabral20 to save 20%. All right. Now let's go on to our book review of the week. So this is a funny one. My daughter and I, my oldest daughter and I, she's 10 years old, we made a bet. And we have had raccoons in our barrels, our trash barrels. If anybody ever dealt with that, it's crazy. Like they are cunning little animals. And the raccoons have outsmarted me for many, many different attempts. I'll get something going to keep the barrel closed, and then they'll find a way to open it. They can even take bungee cords off the barrel. That's how crazy it is. At least our raccoons, meaning like they work in teams, and they all have a role, and they get to that trash, and it makes a mess, and then I have to pick it up. So I did my research online, like I do for anything, right? And what I found was basically these metal cords with carabiners, and I just have to drill them into the barrel, which I did. And I said, there's no way, even though these raccoons are quite smart, that they're going to be able to unclip these carabiners. There's no chance, because I can barely do it because I made them so tight. That's the truth. So we had a 2-week bet, and I said, listen, these raccoons aren't getting in. And she said, well, we'll see. I think they'll get in within 3 days. And I said, no way they're getting in within 3 days. I said, I'll give you 2 weeks. And I made sure every night that I'm making sure that those are closed tight. So you can see the scratch marks all over the barrel. And lo and behold, I think they've given up, which is great. So the bet was this, that if she wins, she gets a puppy. And we are not in the position to get a new dog right now. That's not happening. So first, I couldn't lose the bet for myself and my wife. But the other part is, if she lost, she had to read a book of my choice. Now, fortunately for us, both my daughters love to read. It is something that we've tried to impress upon them, especially my wife, from a very young age. And so I'm going to give her the choice of books that I would like her to read. One of them is The Ultimate Life. I've talked about that. That's a great one. But also, I think I'm going to have a start with this book because this is a tiny book. And it's called A Pocket Guide to Fulfilling Your Dreams. And it's by Deepak Chopra. I read this a million years ago. And it's the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. He even writes in the opening, though, it should really be called the 7 Spiritual Laws of Life. But if you follow them, you'll be successful in any path that you go down. And again, if you're watching this on video, you can see how tiny this is. My hand is bigger than the book, and it is only 100 pages maximum. So it looks like it's 96 pages. So it's very approachable. My daughter's a great reader, but this is a book that she won't feel overwhelmed if I put it down. And then if she's not overwhelmed by this one, because I'm like really apprehensive, I'm trying to think, it's like I want her to get into this subject matter of what life really is all about. And again, when I look in this, I think it's like the very first line, if I can read it to you, but we'll see if it's there. No, it's not there, but essentially, yes, here it is right here. Success in life can be defined. I'm gonna start back over there. Success in life can be defined as the continued expansion of happiness and the progressive realization of worthy goals. I love that. That is in the introduction right there. And then Deepak goes on to just share the 7 principles, the 7 spiritual laws: law of pure potentiality, law of giving and receiving, law of karma or cause and effect, law of least effort, law of attention, intention, and desire, law of detachment, and the law of dharma or purpose in life. So it's a beautiful book. Like I said, I've read this many, many times, and I love Deepak's, especially his older work, like in the 90s and early 2000s. And so this was fantastic. And then there's this is for adults, by the way. So just sharing with you this book is for adults. So if you don't know a lot about the mindset and how you can literally be, do, and have anything in this world, start with this book. It's not a kid's book, just sharing that with you. And then this book is a great companion guide. And this one's called The 7 Spiritual Laws for Parents, Guiding Your Children to Success and Fulfillment. And again, this is obviously a companion book to the book that came out first, which was The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. That was a huge success, right? So this is one for the parents, The 7 Spiritual Laws for Parents, but everybody should read, not just your kids. You read it first before the kids do, The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. So wanted to share that with you. Of course, I'll link it up today at episode 2660. And it looks like we are running out of time, which I knew was going to happen because I was talking about some of my favorite things, family included, that's for sure. But why don't we do this? Let's go over the 1.5 mile Cooper test, all right? And then that's going to be the adjunct, which I said I would give you to yesterday's. Okay, so really what this is testing, I'm not gonna rehash all of yesterday's show. It's testing your aerobic fitness. So everybody should do the 12-minute fitness, run, walk, however you want to do it, in order to estimate your max VO2. But there are a lot of people out there who, again, you're not going to go into a lab or maybe have your VO2 done, although it may be great. But there's another one called the 1.5 mile run test. And this one's a little bit different. So what this one is instead, anybody who runs less than an 8-minute mile, this is a more accurate test. And so instead of just running for as far as you can for 12 minutes, and there's no necessarily right or wrong way to do it the first time. It's just listen to yesterday's show, just go as far as you can in 12 minutes. That's basically all you have to do, honestly. But listen to yesterday's show for the nuances. But then there is a 1.5 mile run for those people that are in even better shape. And then what you want to do, and I'll link up I'll put the link here today for you, or the graph, is you can say, how quickly can you run 1.5 miles? That's the more advanced version. And so it shows people who run 1.5 miles in 14 to 16 minutes is going to be not ideal, right? And poor. More than 16 minutes to run a mile, very poor. Fair is 12 minutes to 14 minutes. Good is 10 minutes and 46 seconds to 12 minutes. Excellent is 9 minutes and 45 minutes. So if you break 10 minutes for a mile and a half, it's excellent. And that's to 10:45. And superior is if you can run a mile and a half in less than 9:44. And that would be fast. That's what, like a 6 minutes, somewhere around there, right? 5, yeah, somewhere around there, somewhere around 6 minutes, a mile. Yeah, because then there'd be 9 minutes. So yeah, 620 miles. And the female, so that was the males that I gave you. And the females is about 3 minutes higher across the board. And so it's a great way to gauge your overall fitness and your overall essentially cardiorespiratory fitness, which looks, when you look at that, you can get a 10-year life expectancy that I spoke about on yesterday's show. So like I said, first, start with just the 12-minute fitness test, and all you need to do is find a track or level ground and see how far you can get in 12 minutes. That's basically the bottom line. And I talked about the warm-up on yesterday's show and all that. And then once you're there, okay, then take it to the next level. If you run sub 8-minute miles, let's now check out this mile and a half test to gauge your predicted VO2. And then I will actually link up the graph for your predicted VO2 based on how quickly you ran that mile and a half. All of that will be at stephencabral.com/2660. All right, we'll save the second research study for next week. I appreciate all of you. Have an amazing weekend. I'll be back tomorrow on our Cabral House Calls. Take care. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.